Today we try some stuff and it kind of just doesn't work out. Let me show you what I mean. Alright guys, got a couple of other cool parts to show you for the 1955 Buick. What do you think it is? A steering column. This is just cheapo Amazon steering column, but it is tilt and it does have the signal switch built into it. And it's chrome, so can't go really wrong. Can't go wrong with chrome, right? So that's just the universal kit, and I've got a steering wheel coming, and this was an adapter that they have as well, but I don't think I'll need that. Hazard knob, tilt switch, tilt knob, and the blinker switcher thing. Set screws and stuff. So I think that'll look pretty freaking sweet in there. That'll allow us to kind of mock up a bit more of our steering as well. Hoping tomorrow I can get in the garage and do some more of that. Because as you can see, we do not have a ton of room. I want to try and figure out if I need to put the steering in the original location, steering box, or if I mount it up front here. Either way, I think this engine needs to move back further, which is going to take some modification on those engine mounts. And it's a pretty big steering box. You can see it there. So that'll allow us to do a little bit of mock-up there. And then we can kind of set the steering column in there and see what kind of linkages and stuff we have to do. There you go. Pretty. Some other parts that we got. I believe this is a hoist bracket. So this is specifically meant to bolt on where the valley pan goes. Again, cheapo Amazon, but that'll make hoisting that up and down a little nicer rather than using a chain, and comes with a little bit of hardware. And then I've got one more part to show you guys. Brake pedal. So it's just your typical universal hot rod brake pedal. Make this work with the Hydro Boost and stuff. The existing pedal in there, because the Master used to be underneath the floor. So this one will put it up in the dash and put it through the firewall where I plan on mounting it now. So this will help us mock that up as well. Next thing I think I want to do on this is look at the steering setup, roughly figure out kind of where I might end up putting it, and then I want to get working on putting this back together better. So filling in these big gaps and stuff that I've cut up with some metal, building some mounts for the radiator. I'm just going to build some mounts off the side of the frame here. Use the original little rubber mounts, and then I've got the top mounts way over there still on my core support, and I'll build something or modify this or whatever I need to do in order to mount and isolate the top of the radiator. So stay tuned, and tomorrow I'll come back out here hopefully and do some more work. Oh, and shout out to my good friend Scott Milne for giving me these lights. Just quickly wired them in, gave me some extra lighting in here, which is nice because it was dark over in that corner. Okay, so next day, here we are. What I want to do is pull this apart, get all the lines and stuff off of it, and the arms and stuff off the steering, and then we can take this and mock it up on the frame and start figuring out how this is going to work, and then maybe try to stick this on the firewall and see where it needs to sit to clear everything, and if that's going to work with the brake pedal. So stay tuned, here we go. Alright, so we ended up using a gear puller to pull that off. That way we can clock it however we might need to when we get to that point. I'm going to try and set it down in the car, hang it on the frame with these, and see roughly how it's sitting in there. So. Okay, so new plan. It doesn't fit in that spot. The power steering pump is in the way for sure. So I think what I'm going to do is pull this front clip off. I'm going to lift the engine back out, which I might get my new engine hoist set up on here. That way it's a little easier to lift it in and out. I'm going to try to set it up in the factory location roughly, because there is a pretty good chunk of space there if the motor gets moved back a few inches. It means I have to make some mounts, new engine mounts up, or some brackets to hold the engine mounts because it'll just be sitting too far back. But that's okay. I think we can do that, no problem. So yeah, let's do that. Okay, so right now this is looking a little bit ridiculous. I've got this kind of set up there, and that's where I put it, so that way the arm could come down and not scrape the ground, and have enough room to travel in between the frame and stuff. So that comes out, that comes up quite a bit from the frame, and also comes over quite a bit. So that's probably going to cause issues with our engine. The other thing is, right here is where our steering shaft would come out. Right here is where our steering shaft would come out. So I'm at quite a bit of an angle there. So I was just going to quickly put that steering column in, roughly lay it in there and see what that looks like. And then I was going to come and just hoist the engine back in here and see what that does to the placement of the engine, because I feel like that would make it sit up pretty high. So we'll see. Okay. Just rigging this up temporarily. I don't have the other mounts yet. Just put a little strap across there, a couple nuts and some washers. That'll just hold it roughly where I'm trying to get it to go. And then this will obviously sit out a little further like that. see that's a pretty ridiculous angle. That's probably about as far in there as I can let that sit. There. I think it's a little more than the 35 degrees though. But that's way too sharp of an angle for one of those A-joints, I think. That would definitely be binding up in there for sure. For sure. Okay, so the problem I'm running into right now, I want to push the engine back as far as I can inside this engine bay. So when I had it sitting in here and the mounts were over top of these locations here, I had another 4 inches I could go back. So I want to take these engine mounts that I had and build them, brace them back to that cross member like that. So what I'm thinking of doing is like having a piece of metal like this, maybe one like this, and then it's kind of boxed into the corner there. I'm going to try to do it out of some scrap metal pieces I have, including cutting up this old LS engine metal, seeing if I can make something work with that. So yeah, so then once I do that, I can set the engine in as far back as it's going to be, and then we can start figuring out this, thinking about this lots over the last week. I think this is going to work really good. I'm going to box in the frame here and there, and I'll put this over here to match, like that. That'll be mounted to the inside of the frame there, lined up with the other one. And then I think using this one, like I was saying earlier, using that, I should be able to make this work. It just has to be shortened a bit, but I don't think that'll cause any issues. I'll try it, see what happens. So here we go. Okay, so now that those spots are filled in, what I want to do is kind of attach these on here like this. See what I got to do. Okay, so none of that was working out the way I wanted it to. And I mean, that's just part of building the car sometimes. So what I'm thinking instead is I'm just gonna build this big bracket out of steel and bolt it in. So I've got provisions to bolt it in down here, over here, here, and over here. There'll be a bit of gap here just so I can level it out. And then this mount will sit just like that. That'll push me my 4 inches back, and all bolted in. I think it'll be pretty strong. I'm going to build it out of some pretty thick plate, and then I can literally just mirror it for the other side, and that'll be good. So next time I'm out here working, I will go try and find some steel. I don't have anything that big, or I think that thick either. So yeah, I'll run out, try to find some steel that's that big, that thick, that I can cut 2 of those plates out of, and hopefully I can bend them up here in town by myself, and that'll take care of pushing my engine mounts back 4 inches, and then I can finally get to figuring out my steering box. Gonna need the steel anyways to box in the frame for the steering boxes. I'm not a very good welder, and my welder's not very big, and it's a piece of shit, and it's really old. I know that I will have to do some welding eventually, but I'll probably have somebody else come and do it for me. So I'm gonna get away with bolting whatever I can. That's the way I'm gonna move forward. Unfortunately, took me a whole day to figure that out, but that's the way it goes. That's how it is. Little sneak peek at the last part of my steering column came in. Looks pretty good. Yeah, don't forget to order the latest copy of the magazine, which features misdemeanor and a bunch of other cool stuff. And the other really cool thing about this version, this issue of the magazine, is it includes a calendar. So make sure you go and pick up your issue of the magazine, and you too can have a sweet calendar with all the different features, or a bunch of the features from our issues over the past year. Well, that's the video for today, guys. Unfortunately, it didn't quite go as planned. I mean, I came out here really wanting to work on getting the steering set up. Kind of mocked up, at least, figured out how all that geometry is going to work, make sure it was going to work. Got sidetracked by pushing the engine back 4 inches and tried a bunch of stuff to get that to work. Didn't end up working. Came up with a simple, stupid solution with just some bolt-on plate. So in the next video, hopefully we can put that plate together, make sure the engine fits in there good now with it being pushed back 4 inches, and then we can get going on the steering. Once again, thanks for watching. Thanks for checking out the channel. I hope you like what's happening with Ded Betty, doing this all on a budget and with hardly any tools. So we're going to come across issues like this throughout the entire build, and the fun part is overcoming them and coming up with a good solution. Don't forget to hit the like button. Tell me what you think down below, and if you liked what you saw, consider subscribing. Yeah, keep cruise culture alive. Thanks, guys.